Today we're going to talk about another exploitation method that we can do using NetHunter. Before, we were able to fool a computer when we connect to it using USB, and we told the computer that we are a network device. When we did this, we forced all the traffic through our network device, which allowed us to read all the packets, intercept them, modify them, or do whatever that we want to do as a man in the middle. We did that in the bad USB attack. Now today we're going to do a HID keyboard attack. So in this attack, we're going to fool the computer and tell that computer that we are a keyboard instead of telling it that we are a network device. When we do that, we will be able to send physical keystrokes to that computer. As well, they won't be physical, but we're going to program our Android device to send keystrokes to that computer, but they will appear as if they're being typed physically. This will allow us to bypass the auto run feature, and it will allow us to run any command that we want to run on the target machine. So we can run any Windows commands, we can gain full access to that computer, we'll see that in the next video, or you can just add a username and password and then remotely log into that computer, which is what we're going to do in this video. So we're going to program our Android device. As I said, we're going to add commands, so we're going to use two commands. The first command is to add a user, and the second command is to add that user to the administrators. So let's go ahead, and first, before I actually execute the attack, I want to show you some of the configurations that you need to do first so that the attack works successfully. So the first thing you want to do is go to an app called USB Keyboard. Now this comes in pre-installed with Kali Linux, and when you run it for the first time, it's going to ask you to install a kernel. So say yes, and it's going to install it automatically for you. Now here, I don't need to do that because I've already done it before and it's not asking me to do it. Now once you do that, go back to settings and go to developer options and make sure that USB debugging is enabled. And as you can see, I have it enabled here. Then go to storage and click on these three little dots and go and make sure that MTP is enabled. Now once you have these two things enabled, you're good to go and we can start the attack. So I'm going to launch Kali menu and I'm going to navigate to the keyboard attack. And this is the power exploit is what allows you to gain full access to the target computer and hack it. So I'm going to leave that for the next video, and I'm going to go to the Windows CMD option. So here you'd put the commands that you want to run on the target machine. And as you can see that I have two commands to run. Now these are Windows commands. You can run them through the terminal. You can add any command that you want here and it'll run. So if you actually do this command on Windows, it'll add the username on Windows and password as we're doing it here. But we're actually going to program our computer and then our device and then connect it to the computer, and these commands will be executed automatically. So I'm just going to change the username here to Zaid. And I'll change that to Zaid. Now, if you're doing penetration testing, you probably want to use a different name. So, and the password is 123456. So that's all good. I'm going to do update, and that's updated. So everything is perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll show you here my Windows device right here. And I'm going to connect my Nexus device to this machine using USB. So now my device is connected, and I'm going to go on my NetHunter machine right here. And I'm going to click on these little three dots and hit execute attack. I'm going to go back quickly to my Windows machine. And as you can see that these commands are actually now being executed automatically. So I'm not physically typing these commands. They're just being run really quickly. So as you can see that the commands got executed automatically. I didn't type actually these commands, so the command prompt got opened. I ran the two commands that I wanted, the net user Zaid add, and then the addition to the administrators group. So we actually now have a username and a password on a target machine, and we achieved this only by connecting our Nexus device to that machine. So what we can do now is remotely logging into that machine using Remote Desktop. So I downloaded the Microsoft Remote Desktop app from the Play Store. But you actually need to sign out of this account first. So I'm going to sign out. And then in here, I'm going to add a new device. I'm going to say it's a desktop. And then I'm going to put the IP address, which is 192.168. And I'm going to save that. Tap the device. It's going to try to connect. Now you can do this from any device. So you can do this from a Linux device or Mac OS or Windows, another Windows device. But we're just doing it from Android because we're teaching penetration testing from Android devices. So it's going to ask you if you want to trust that computer. I'm going to say yes, no problem, connect to it. So the username is Zaid. And the password is 123456. Done. Connect. Now, as you can see, it's trying to log me in as Zaid. So I have full access to the Windows machine, remote access using Remote Desktop, using the username that we added. So basically, this attack allows you to run any Windows command that you can pre-program, and once you connect your device to a Windows or to a device using USB, these attacks will automatically run as if they're physically being typed on a keyboard.